You think you know the words a man is afraid to hear. You think they are loud, definitive, and final. Words like, "I'm leaving you," or "I don't love you anymore." You imagine a slammed door, a climactic fight, a clean break, an ending. You are wrong. The most terrifying words are not the ones that end the war. They are the quiet, insidious words that start it, that sustain it, that make you believe the war is not even happening. They are the words that sound like love, but feel like poison. They are the words that dismantle you, piece by piece, while you are smiling and nodding, and convinced you are the one holding the screwdriver. This is not a book about arguments. It is a field guide to a psychological war zone you may not even realize you are living in. It is a map of an invisible prison whose bars are forged from guilt, confusion, and conditioned love. I am not here as a neutral observer. I am here as a whistleblower, a voice for the man who screams into his pillow at 3 a.m., the man who rehearses conversations in his car just to avoid a landmine at home, the man who looks in the mirror and no longer recognizes the hollowed-out stranger staring back. We are going to talk about a specific kind of violence, a violence that leaves no bruises on the skin but carves deep, septic scars on the soul. We will call it by its name, emotional abuse, and it is wielded with breathtaking skill by partners who have mastered the art of making their control feel like your fault. They use a language of annihilation, a dialect of deception. Words like, asterisk, "You're just being too sensitive. Why do you always overreact? The Sina sings. Asterisk, look what you made me do. I wouldn't get this angry if you weren't. Asterisk, if you really loved me, you would understand. He's not to the grace need of the forderations of Condon. Asterisk, after everything I have done for you, this is how you repay me." The mastic speed. These are not mere phrases. They are keys. Keys that lock you into a cage of self-doubt. Keys that turn your reality inside out. They are the whispers that convince you that the chaos is your fault. The isolation is for your own good, and the pain is a sign of your own inadequacy. Forget everything you think you know about strength and weakness. This has nothing to do with being a real man. The most intelligent, successful, and confident men can be brought to their knees by this psychological water torture. It is a slow, methodical erosion of the self. In these pages, I will hand you the decoder ring. We will not speak in abstract theories. We will walk through the fire with men who have been there. We will dissect the weapons, one by one, from the mind-bending poison of gaslighting to the slow suffocation of isolation. We will expose the tactics for what they are, a ruthless campaign for power and control. This is your wake-up call. This is the moment you stop walking on eggshells and start recognizing them as the shattered pieces of your own spirit. The gates of this hell are locked from the inside. I am here to show you where to find the key. Let me introduce you to Mark. If you met Mark 5 years ago, you would have seen a man who had his world figured out. At 34, he was a successful architect, a man whose mind worked in straight lines, logical progressions, and solid foundations. He had a blueprint for everything. His career was thriving, built on a reputation for being calm under pressure. He had a tight-knit circle of friends from college, a weekly basketball game he never missed, and a passion for restoring vintage motorcycles in his garage, a dusty, oil-scented sanctuary of steel and solitude. Mark was, by all accounts, a man firmly planted on the ground he had built for himself. He was stable. He was confident. He was happy. Then he met Sarah. The beginning wasn't a storm. It was a perfect sunrise. Sarah was a freelance graphic designer, vibrant and sharp-witted, with a laugh that could fill a room and a way of listening that made you feel like you were the only person in the universe. Their first date lasted 7 hours. They talked about everything: his passion for brutalist architecture, her love for impressionist art, their shared cynical sense of humour. Mark felt a connection so intense it was almost unnerving. She didn't just listen to him. She seemed to times understand, times the very blueprint of his soul. She praised his ambition, admired his discipline, and celebrated his quiet strength. For the first time, Mark felt not just loved, but time-seen asterisk. The first 3 months were a blur of intoxicating affection. She would leave notes in his coat pocket, plan surprise weekend trips, and text him throughout the day telling him how much she missed him. It was overwhelming, all-consuming. His friends joked that he'd been abducted by aliens. He laughed it off, but a part of him knew they were right. He was in a different world now, orbiting entirely around her. The first signs, the first hairline cracks in the foundation, were so subtle he painted right over them. It started with his friends. After a night out with his basketball buddies, he came home energized and happy. Sarah was quiet. When he pressed her, she finally said, her voice small and wounded, "It's just, you're so different when you're with them. It's like I don't even know you." She wasn't angry. She was hurt. And Mark, seeing her pain, felt a pang of guilt. He found himself apologizing, reassuring her that she was his world. The next time the guys called, he hesitated. He made an excuse. He chose her. He thought he was being a good partner. He didn't realize he had just willingly dismantled the first piece of his support system. Then came the incident over dinner. He was 10 minutes late meeting her at a restaurant, delayed by a call with a major client. He walked in, ready to apologize, but was met with a face of cold fury. She didn't yell. She did something far worse. She looked at him with profound disappointment and said, "I just sat here for 10 minutes feeling like an idiot. I guess my time just isn't as valuable as yours." The rest of the dinner was cloaked in a tense silence. He tried to explain, but she just shook her head. "It's fine," she said, the 2 most dishonest words in her arsenal. Later that night, she cried, telling him it wasn't about the 10 minutes. It was about respect. It was about feeling like she wasn't a priority. By the end of the night, asterisk, he times, was the one apologizing profusely. He was the one who felt reckless and thoughtless. He never questioned the disproportionate nature of her reaction. He only registered his own failure. He had made this wonderful, sensitive woman feel unimportant. He vowed to be better, more punctual, more considerate. He didn't see the transaction that had just occurred. He had tried to state a simple fact: a client call ran late, and in return, he was handed a verdict on his character. He was disrespectful, inconsiderate, and selfish. His reality was denied and replaced with her emotional narrative. Mark was an architect. He knew that a structure's integrity depends entirely on its foundation. What he didn't know was that with every small concession, with every accepted piece of blame, with every reprioritized friendship, Sarah was not building a life with him. She was meticulously planting dynamite at the base of his, and he was handing her the matches, believing it was the warm glow of a fireplace. Have you ever walked out of a room feeling a profound sense of vertigo, a dizzying confusion, even though you were standing perfectly still? Have you ever ended an argument about a simple, factual event by apologizing for your own memory? If so, you have met the arsonist of the soul. You have been gaslit. Gaslighting is not simply lying. A lie is a crude tool. Gaslighting is psychological warfare of the highest order. It is the systematic act of dismantling your reality, of setting fire to your perception of the truth, and then calmly asking why you smell smoke. It is the weapon of choice for the emotional abuser, and its primary purpose is to make you believe that you are the one who is broken, that you are unreliable, that you are, in a word, crazy. Let's return to Mark. His life with Sarah has become a landscape of inexplicable emotional shifts. The foundation he once stood upon now feels like quicksand. One evening, he has a crucial awards dinner for his firm, an event he's been talking about for weeks. The week before, Sarah had lovingly offered to pick up his suit from the dry cleaners to save him the trip. The night of the dinner arrives. Mark is getting ready, and he can't find his suit. "Hey, Sarah, where did you put the suit from the cleaners?" he calls out. She walks into the bedroom, a confused look on her face. "What suit?" "I know now, Pear. My navy suit. The one for tonight. You said you'd pick it up on Tuesday." He's not think these oceans pine. Her expression doesn't just remain confused. It morphs into one of hurt, of bewilderment. "Honey, no. I never said that. Why would I say that? I told you this was a crazy week for me. You know, I've been completely overwhelmed with the new project." "They so, in fave to Newell." Mark freezes. He is certain they had this conversation. He can almost picture it. They were in the kitchen. He was making coffee. She touched his arm and said, "Don't worry about the suit. I'll handle it." "Splace. On the Afer." "I'm sure you did," he says, his voice less certain now. "We talked about it on Tuesday morning. The next vibe lacked of this." And here, the arsonist lights the match. "No, we didn't," she says, her tone now sharp with injury. "You're doing it again. You're remembering things that never happened. Honestly, it's starting to worry me. You put these expectations on me that we never discussed, and then get mad when I can't read your mind. Thanks for watching. Look closely at what just happened. The conversation is no longer about the suit. It has been twisted, masterfully, into a referendum on Mark's sanity. In the space of 30 seconds, he has gone from a man asking a simple question to a forgetful, demanding partner who invents conversations and worries the woman he loves. He is now scrambling, not for his suit, but for his own sense of reality. He ends up frantically finding something else to wear, but the real damage is done. He spends the entire evening not celebrating his firm's success, but replaying that conversation, wondering, asterisk, could I really have imagined the whole thing? Am I that stressed out? This is the poison pill of gaslighting, always coated in the sweetness of guilt. The abuser denies reality and simultaneously frames your insistence on that reality as an attack. Times on them, asterisk. How could you accuse me of that? It hurts my feelings that you'd think I'm that forgetful. You're just trying to start a fight. Even not to do now. They create a chaotic fog and then blame you for getting lost. They do this over small things, a suit, and big things, their flirtations, their broken promises, their rage. Over time, the victim stops trusting their own GPS. They begin to believe they are the cartographer of a fantasy world, and that the abuser is their only reliable guide back to the truth. It is the perfect crime. They are building your prison and convincing you that you are the architect. A prison is most effective when the inmate builds his own walls, believing it is a fortress to protect a great love. Isolation is never a sudden kidnapping. It is a slow, methodical renovation of your world, conducted by your partner, but with your own hands. The goal is simple and ruthless, to make their voice the only one you hear, and their opinion the only one that matters, their approval the only currency you trade in. An abuser knows that a support system, friends, family, colleagues, is a council of truth-tellers, and the truth is a threat to their control. So, they don't forbid you from seeing people. They make it too expensive, not in money, but in emotional currency. Let's watch how Sarah works. She never says to Mark, "Don't go play basketball with your friends." She waits for him to be packing his gym bag, a hint of his old, easygoing energy returning to his face. Then she sighs, a soft, wounded sound from the other room. He comes to her, and she's curled up on the sofa, looking small. "What's wrong?" he asks. "Nothing," she says. "It's just, I've had such a hard week, and I was looking forward to a quiet night with you. But it's fine. Go. Have fun." They condemn. See the genius of it. There is no fight. There is no ultimatum. There is only a choice. Your happiness or hers. Your pleasure or her pain. A good man, a loving partner. What does he do? He chooses her. He unpacks his bag. He feels a twinge of disappointment. but it is immediately replaced by a wave of noble self-sacrifice. He is being a good boyfriend. A few weeks later, when the friends call again, the choice is even easier. The habit of choosing her is already forming. The wall is one brick higher. Family becomes another front in this silent war. When Mark's mother calls, Sarah is all sweetness and light on the extension. But as soon as he hangs up, the analysis begins. Your mom is lovely, but she's so critical. Did you hear how she asked about my job? It's like she doesn't think I'm good enough for you. She plants seeds of doubt, framing concern as control and questions as criticism. Soon, Mark finds himself defending Sarah to his family, and then defending his family to Sarah. Calls become shorter. Visits become tense, exhausting ordeals. It's simply easier to see them less. Another brick slots into place. His world is shrinking, but it feels intentional. A conscious coupling. He is not a prisoner. He is a co-creator of this intense, private universe for two. His old life, with its noisy friends and interfering family, seems distant and somehow less pure than the focused, all-consuming love he has now. He has forgotten the easy laughter of his best friend. He has forgotten the simple comfort of his mother's advice. He has forgotten the feeling of being part of a team. His world, once a sprawling map of connections, has been redrawn to the size of their apartment. And now, when the gaslighting happens, who can he ask? When he feels that dizzying sense of unreality, whose voice can ground him, there is no one left to call. Every potential ally has been subtly painted as an enemy of their love. He is alone in the fog with the person creating it. Look around you. Who do you no longer speak to? What passions have you abandoned? Is your world expanding with joy, or is it shrinking to the precise dimensions of your partner's approval? Be honest. Are you building a fortress or a cage? After an abuser isolates your mind, the next territory to conquer is your body and your wallet. They understand a primal truth. A man who cannot control his own resources, his passion, and his power is a man on a leash. This isn't about a lack of money or a lack of desire. This is about transforming your most fundamental assets into weapons to be used against you. It is about the economics of control, where your autonomy is the only thing for sale, and you are forced to be the buyer. Let's look at the finances first. For Mark, the provider, the architect of his own success, this seemed like the last place he could be vulnerable. Sarah, ever so helpful, offered to manage their joint finances. You're so busy building an empire. Honey, Shed said, smiling, let me handle the bills. I can make our money work for us. It sounded like a partnership, a smart division of labor. Mark felt relieved to hand over the tedious task of budgets and payments. He didn't realize he wasn't handing over a task. He was handing over his sovereignty. Soon, the dynamic shifted. His own money was no longer his. He had an allowance, though no one called it that. When he wanted to buy a new part for the vintage motorcycle, gathering dust in his garage, it became a tense negotiation. Are you sure that's a priority right now? Mark, I was hoping we could save for that new sofa. Notice the language, asterisk his times hobby versus times our times, sofa. His desires were framed as selfish indulgences, while hers were presented as investments in their future. The earner. It was made to feel like an irresponsible child asking for a toy, constantly having to justify, explain, and ultimately, I feel guilty for wanting something for himself. Then comes the most intimate battleground, the bedroom. Sex in a manipulative relationship is never just sex. It is a currency. It is a reward system. It is the ultimate barometer of your compliance. In the weeks where Mark was the good partner agreeing with Sarah, cancelling plans to be with her, siding with her against his family, she was passionate, loving, and insatiable. Sex was his reward for obedience. It was a potent affirmation that he was doing everything right, that their private universe was perfect. But if he pushed back, If he questioned a story that didn't add up, or insisted on a night out with a friend, the chill would set in. It wasn't an overt no. It was a sigh when he touched her, a turning away in bed. If he asked what was wrong, the answer would be a masterclass in blame shifting. How do you expect me to feel close to you when you were so argumentative earlier? Or I just can't be intimate when I feel like we're not on the same team. Intimacy was no longer a shared expression of desire. It was a wage paid for his good behaviour, and it could be withheld at any moment. This system is devastating. It ties a man's sense of masculinity and desirability directly to his submission. He becomes trapped in a cycle of performance, constantly trying to earn back the affection that was once given freely. It creates a deep, humiliating ache, a hunger for not just physical touch, but for the validation that comes with it. So, ask yourself, who signs your paychecks, and who signs your permission slips? Is your money a tool for your freedom, or a source of your shame? Is the intimacy in your life a source of connection, or a reward for your conformity? Be brutally honest. Are you a partner, or are you a managed asset? Why do you stay? This is the question that haunts you. The question you believe proves your weakness. You see the pain. You feel the erosion of your soul, and yet you do not leave. Let me be clear. You are not weak for staying. You are hooked. You have been conditioned by the most powerful psychological tool in the manipulator's arsenal, intermittent reinforcement. It is the science of hope, weaponized to keep you in place. Think of a slot machine. You pull the lever. Nothing. 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 Then, a small payout. A cascade of lights and sound. Your brain is flooded with pleasure. Now the machine can take your money 10, 20, 50 more times, because you are not reacting to the losses. You are chasing the memory of the win. You are addicted to the times, possibility asterisk. Your relationship is that slot machine. For weeks, Mark lives in a drought. Sarah is critical, distant, and dismissive. She scoffs at his ideas, gives him the silent treatment, and the bedroom is an icy tundra. He feels worthless, drained, and utterly alone. He reaches a breaking point. The pain finally outweighs the memory of love. He thinks, asterisk, this is it. I can't do this anymore. And then, the jackpot. Just as he is ready to pull away, she transforms. He comes home from work to find she has cooked his favourite meal. She meets him at the door, wraps her arms around him, and apologizes, tears in her eyes. I'm so sorry. My love, she whispers. I've been under so much pressure at work. I haven't been myself. It's not you. It's me. I'm so lucky to have you. That night, she is the woman he fell in love with. Affectionate, funny, passionate. For Mark, this is a flood of relief, so powerful it's euphoric. The bad Sarah was just an aberration. The real Sarah is back. The pain of the previous weeks vanishes, overwritten by the intensity of this reunion. He is not a victim in a toxic cycle. He is a hero who has patiently weathered a storm. This unpredictable swing from cruelty to kindness is the mechanism of the addiction. It keeps you forever off balance and forever hopeful. This cycle is protected by an equally vicious defense mechanism, the victim flip. This is what happens when you try to hold them accountable. During one of their good periods, Mark gently tries to address a past hurt. You know, he says softly, it really hurt me last week when you called my passion for motorcycles a stupid, childish hobby in front of your friends. They salve. The abuser does not reflect. They do not apologize. They reverse the flow of sympathy with lightning speed. Sarah's face crumples, not with guilt, but with theatrical pain. I cannot believe you are bringing that up now, she says, her voice trembling. Right when we were finally having a good day. Are you trying to ruin this? After everything I do to hold this relationship together, if you want to dredge up one tiny thing I said when I was stressed, you are the one hurting times me times right now. Maybe has not. And just like that, Mark is the villain. He is the one destroying the peace. He is the selfish one for mentioning his own pain. He will find himself, bewildered, apologizing to times her asterisk. He is sorry for bringing it up, sorry for ruining the mood. This is the perfect, closed loop of abuse. The intermittent reinforcement keeps you gambling for a jackpot of affection that will never last. The victim flip ensures that the house the abuser never, ever has to take responsibility for the losses. So ask yourself, when you are hurt, are you allowed to be the victim? Or does that title always, somehow, get stolen from you? The machine is rigged. It is designed to take everything you own to the outside world. You are half of a perfect couple. Your friends say how lucky you are. Your family sees a partner who adores you. The abuser is a master of public relations, carefully curating a flawless facade. They understand that perception is power. If the world sees them as perfect, then any problem you claim to have must originate with you. This public performance serves two brutal functions. It invalidates your reality, making you question if things are really that bad, and it provides the perfect stage for the cruel weapon of public humiliation. The abuser builds a gallery of your love for public consumption. Sarah is an expert at this. She posts photos of them on social media with captions that sing Mark's praises. So grateful for this incredible man who always supports me. She tells her friends, often in Mark's presence, how brilliant and hard-working he is. To everyone else, their life is a beautiful story. This makes Mark feel profoundly alone. He lives in the grim, unpublished chapters, while the world is only allowed to read the glowing book jacket. Who would ever believe his version of the story? The evidence against him is overwhelming. With this stage set, the public humiliation begins. It is never overt aggression. It is a stiletto heel disguised as a joke. They are at a dinner party, surrounded by friends. Mark is telling a story about a recent challenge at his firm. He is in his element, speaking with professional confidence. Then Sarah chimes in with a bright, tinkling laugh. "Oh, you should have seen him," she says to the table. "He was pacing around the house for days, completely lost. It's a good thing he has me to talk him off the ledge." "Miss Station." The table chuckles. It sounds like a loving, playful jab from a supportive partner. But Mark feels it for what it is, a public castration. In one sentence, she has reframed his professional competence as boyish anxiety and positioned herself as his capable handler. He is diminished. If he protests, he's the one who can't take a joke, the one who is too sensitive. So he forces a smile and swallows the poison. The most sinister form of this is the weaponization of your vulnerability, the secrets you share in moments of profound intimacy, with the fears you whisper in the dark. You believe you are building a bridge of trust. To the abuser, you're simply handing them ammunition. Months ago, Mark confided in Sarah about an insecurity he has with public speaking. Now, in a minor debate with friends over politics, he is making a thoughtful point. Sarah, wanting to shut him down, pats his knee and says, "It's okay. Honey, we know you get flustered in front of a crowd. Take your time." The raid trees of the Tay. She has done it again. She hasn't attacked his point. She has attacked his right to have one. She has used his deepest secret as a public tranquilizer dart, silencing him with shame. Everyone else just sees a caring partner. He experiences it as a profound betrayal. This is why you feel so trapped. The person who causes your private pain is the same person who curates your public adoration. They control the entire narrative. They have made you a co-conspirator in the lie of your own happiness. So, look at your life in the spotlight. When you are with others, do you feel celebrated or managed? Are your flaws and fears treated as sacred trusts, or are they punchlines waiting to be delivered? The most convincing lie is often the one you are forced to live in public. You must find the courage to see what is happening just outside the picture frame. You have been suffering in silence, but let me correct that. You are not just silent. You have been silenced. You have been silenced by a world that wrote you a script on the day you were born. The script of man. In this script, you are the rock, the provider, the protector. You are logical, not emotional. You fix. You endure. You lead. Search that entire script. Read every page. You will find there is no chapter, no paragraph, not even a single line for you as the victim. And this is the abuser's greatest accomplice, a society that refuses to believe your story. The shame that keeps your mouth shut is not entirely your own. It has been manufactured for you by generations of gender stereotypes. A man admitting he is psychologically controlled by his female partner is a violation of the natural order. It's a joke. He's henpecked. He's whipped. He needs to grow a pair. His pain is not seen as trauma. It is seen as a punchline, a failure of his own masculinity. The world has no category for a woman as a psychological aggressor and a man as her target. It is a story so foreign that it is easier to deny it than to process it. Let us watch Mark, our architect, finally reach a breaking point and decide to breach the wall of isolation. He calls Dave, his oldest friend, the one from the basketball court. After awkward small talk, Mark stumbles through an explanation, describing the constant walking on eggshells, the confusion, Sarah's unpredictable anger. He is offering his friend a raw, terrifying piece of his soul. And how does Dave respond? He means well. He claps Mark on the shoulder over the video call. "Man, that sounds tough," he says with a laugh. "But come on, you know how women are. They're emotional. You just gotta be the calm one. Don't let her get to you. Be the man in the relationship. On the my taste no." The words hang in the air, more brutal than any insult. Asterisk. Be the man. Asterisk. Dave isn't listening to a story of abuse. He is hearing a story of a man who has failed to control his woman. He offers no validation. He offers no sanctuary. He simply hands Mark the same broken script he's been forced to read his whole life. Mark ends the call, a polite smile plastered on his face, and is consumed by a wave of shame so profound it is nauseating. He tried to speak the truth, and the world told him his truth was inadmissible. He is more alone now than he was before he made the call. This is the failure of support systems. The law sees no bruises, so it sees no crime. Therapy, an institution that should be a refuge, and can feel like another place of judgment, where a man fears being told he is the one who is uncommunicative or unwilling to meet her emotional needs. The world is primed to see the emotional woman and the stoic, unfeeling man. Your abuser knows this and uses it as her shield. She can cry to her friends about how you are shut down and distant, and they will nod in sympathy, never knowing she is the one who created the very conditions for your withdrawal. So I say this to you now, with all the force I can muster. Your pain is real, even if no one has a name for it. Your trauma is valid, even if the world tells you to man up. The failure is not in you. It is in the world that handed you a rulebook for a game you were never meant to win. You must become the first person to truly believe yourself. That is the first act of defiance. You have been suffering in silence. But let me correct that. You are not just silent. You have been silenced. You have been silenced by a world that wrote you a script on the day you were born. The script of man. In this script, you are the rock, the provider, the protector. You are logical, not emotional. You fix. You endure. You lead. Search that entire script. Read every page. You will find there is no chapter, no paragraph, not even a single line, for you as the victim. And this is the abuser's greatest accomplice, a society that refuses to believe your story. The shame that keeps your mouth shut is not entirely your own. It has been manufactured for you by generations of gender stereotypes. A man admitting he is psychologically controlled by his female partner is a violation of the natural order. It's a joke. He's henpecked. He's whipped. He needs to grow a pair. His pain is not seen as trauma. It is seen as a punchline, a failure of his own masculinity. The world has no category for a woman as a psychological aggressor and a man as her target. It is a story so foreign that it is easier to deny it than to process it. Let us watch Mark, our architect, finally reach a breaking point and decide to breach the wall of isolation. He calls Dave, his oldest friend, the one from the basketball court. After awkward small talk, Mark stumbles through an explanation, describing the constant walking on eggshells, the confusion, Sarah's unpredictable anger. He is offering his friend a raw, terrifying piece of his soul. And how does Dave respond? He means well. He claps Mark on the shoulder over the video call. "Man, that sounds tough," he says with a laugh. "But come on, you know how women are. They're emotional. You just gotta be the calm one. Don't let her get to you. Be the man in the relationship." At Sone Deninge. The words hang in the air, more brutal than any insult. Asterisk, be the man. Asterisk, Dave isn't listening to a story of abuse. He is hearing a story of a man who has failed to control his woman. He offers no validation. He offers no sanctuary. He simply hands Mark the same broken script he's been forced to read his whole life. Mark ends the call, a polite smile plastered on his face, and is consumed by a wave of shame so profound it is nauseating. He tried to speak the truth, and the world told him his truth was inadmissible. He is more alone now than he was before he made the call. This is the failure of support systems. The law sees no bruises, so it sees no crime. Therapy, an institution that should be a refuge, can feel like another place of judgment, where a man fears being told he is the one who is uncommunicative or unwilling to meet her emotional needs. The world is primed to see the emotional woman and the stoic, unfeeling man. Your abuser knows this and uses it as her shield. She can cry to her friends about how you are shut down and distant, and they will nod in sympathy, never knowing she is the one who created the very conditions for your withdrawal. So I say this to you now, with all the force I can muster. Your pain is real, even if no one has a name for it. Your trauma is valid, even if the world tells you to man up. The failure is not in you. It is in the world that handed you a rulebook for a game you were never meant to win. You must become the first person to truly believe yourself. That is the first act of defiance. You have escaped. The door of the cage is open, and you have walked through it. But you will find, in the days and weeks that follow, that you carry the prison within you. The silence you fought for will at first feel deafening. The peace you craved will feel like a terrifying, unstructured void. Do not mistake this for a sign that you made the wrong decision. This is not regret. This is detoxification. It is the first, agonizing stage of your rebirth. The addiction to the cycle of abuse is a powerful one. You were conditioned to chaos, to walking on eggshells, to the gut-wrenching lows and the euphoric, deceptive highs. A normal, stable life will feel boring and empty by comparison. You will feel the ghost of your abuser everywhere. You will reach for your phone to tell them something. Then remember, you will hear a song and be ambushed by a memory of a good time. You may even miss them, and this will fill you with a profound sense of shame. Do not be ashamed. You don't miss the person. You miss the drug, the intensity, the role you were forced to play in a drama that consumed your entire world. Mark, now in a sterile, temporary apartment, felt this acutely. The quiet was a physical presence. He was free from Sarah's criticism, but now her voice was an echo inside his own head, scrutinizing his every move. He reconnected with friends, but felt alien, a soldier returned from a war no one else could comprehend. He couldn't explain the 1,000 tiny battles that had worn him down to nothing. He would find himself defending her actions in his own mind, a testament to the power of her psychological programming. His only anchor was the secret logbook he kept. In moments of doubt, he would force himself to read his own handwriting describing the gaslighting, the humiliation, the coldness. It was a painful but necessary reminder of the truth. Rebuilding your life is a slow and deliberate process. It begins not with grand gestures, but with small acts of reclamation. For you, it is about rediscovering the man you were before the storm. For Mark, this journey began when he finally went to the storage unit where he had put his motorcycle. He pulled off the dusty tarp, and the familiar smell of oil and steel filled his lungs. He picked up a wrench. He began to work. The simple, honest logic of mechanics, of taking something broken and making it whole again, was a form of therapy. Each cleaned part, each tightened bolt, was an act of reclaiming himself. This is your task now. Reclaim your territory. Rejoin that basketball team. Call that family member you were pushed away from. Sit in a park and read a book for an hour without having to explain yourself. These small acts of autonomy are how you rebuild the foundations of your self-esteem. Seek professional help from a therapist who understands trauma and emotional abuse. They will be your guide through the fog. But the most crucial skill you must now learn is the art of the boundary. You were taught that your needs are selfish, that your no is an act of aggression. You must unlearn this. No is a complete sentence. I am not comfortable with that is a sacred right. A boundary is not a wall to keep people out. It is the fence that protects the sacred ground of your own well-being. Rebirth is not a flash of lightning. It is the slow, quiet dawn after a long and brutal night. It is looking in the mirror one day and recognizing the man staring back, not as a victim, but as a survivor. His eyes are older, wiser, and carry the memory of the fire, but he is free, and he is, for the first time in a very long time, coming home to himself